What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Vi, this is the League of Legends champion I'm going to be covering today. So I'm trying to keep up this theme of Arcane, and she's for me the final champion that I'm going to be doing for the Arcane series. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go through her bio. I am also going to be going through her skins. I'm going to go through her short story, this one here, Interrogation 101. I'm also going to be going through, I don't think she's got a spotlight, she's got a login theme which I'll do as well. Maybe some interactions or maybe the skin interactions. I'll think of something to put in there if one of them isn't available. And yeah, I'll timestamp the whole thing as I always do. So yeah, without further ado, let's kick things off with the bio. So, the Piltovian Enforcer. So, V remembers little of her childhood in Zone. Does she really? And what she does remember, she wishes she didn't. Does she really? Running with the snipe gangs, she quickly learned to use her wits as well as her fists to survive. Everyone who encountered Vi knew she could talk or punch her way out of trouble. Sing a little bit more. More often than not, she chose the latter. Because interestingly enough as well, on the website, League of Legends website, it says that she's from Piltover. Yeah, okay. None of the old times from her youth could tell her anything of her parents. Most assumed they had died, in one of the industrial accidents that were sadly all too common in the Undercity, but I think we saw that they died from the siege, didn't they? The siege between Piltover and Zaan in the first scene actually, of Arcane. Though she had ended up in the crumbling Hope House orphanage, a notoriously mad sump scraper claimed to have found her adrift in a bassinet large enough for two in the ruins of a collapsed chem lab. In the end, Vi figured some things were best left unknown. With her wild pink hair, she became a distinctive sight on the streets of Zon, hightailing, should I say, from angry shopkeepers in the boundary markets, swaggering through the colourful bazaars of the Black Lanes, or hitching rides up into Piltover aboard the Drolic conveyors. Whenever there was a scrape to be gotten into or a scam to be run, Vi was in the thick of it, though she never stole from those that couldn't cover the loss. So Robin Hood, basically, and never hurt those that didn't deserve it. As she got older, the capers of childhood became more audacious and daring, as we saw from the first episode, and Vi formed a gang of her own. Brash and quick to anger, she still relied on her fists as a little too much, and was rarely without a black eye or a split lip. She found a mentor in the owner of a bar on the edge of the lanes, who tempered some of her more self-destructive tendencies. He tried to enforce her moral code and showed her how to fight with discipline, as well as teaching her ways to direct her, simmering anger. Can't read. This is obviously Vanda in the series. In time, Vi earned a reputation as someone who got things done, no questions asked. Listening to the chatter of the Zornet members who frequented the bar, she came to learn when big deals were being made and how payments were to be delivered. To a chem baron, this was chump change, but to her and her friends, it would be a fortune. She planned a heist, but knew it would require extra bodies to pull off, so Vi reluctantly brought a rival gang, the Factory Wood Fiends, in on her score. Someone's going to betray her. Everything was going fine until the leader of the Fiends killed the mine owner with a pair of oversized pulverizer gauntlets and trapped the rest of the workers in the tunnels. Even as both gangs fled with the loot, Vi knew she could not leave these innocent people to die. She snatched up the gauntlets, the wrist mechanisms clamping down painfully on her arms, but she endured their agony long enough to smash open a path, to free the miners. The following day, Vi paid a visit to the Factory Wood Fiends, still wearing the power gauntlets. She took on the entire gang, administering a beating so legendary that it's still spoken of in the lanes to this day. Vi eventually disappeared from Zon during a time of great upheaval when tensions with Piltover were running high, which is obviously what we saw in the Arcane series. Rumours circulated between the gangs that she had been killed in a huge explosion in the heart of the Undercity, or that she had turned her back on her friends and struck out for distant lands. The truth, however, finally came to light when Old Hungry Scars, a vicious gang whose murder sprees had spread topside, were brought down by a respected sheriff of Piltover and her new ally, Vi, which is Caitlin. So, The former gang leader was now in the employ of the Wardens, and she had replaced the chem-powered pulverizer gauntlets with a pair of brand new Hextech Atlas prototypes. No one yet knows the exact reason why or how Vi came to be working alongside Caitlin, but given the archaic nature of the crime wave now sweeping Piltover, speculation was rife that it might involve a certain blue-haired Hellion from Zorn, which we know who this is. This is Jinx. So this is her bio. Interesting, because the events of Arcane tie in with this. There's not many things in this that contradict what we've read or what we watched in Arcane, which is good. So yeah, good to go through her bio. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through her skins. Let's go. Okay, so this is Vi. So once a criminal from the mean streets of Zarn, Vi is a hothead, impulsive and fearsome woman with only a very loose respect for authority figures. Growing up in the all but alone, Vi developed finely honed survival instincts as well as a wickedly abrasive sense of humour. Now working with the Wardens of Piltover to keep the peace, she wields mighty Hextech gauntlets that can punch through walls and suspects with ease. Okay, so this is her base skin. Nice, interesting there as well. I think the background for her base skin is the same background for Jinx's login theme, I think. So the next one, what do we have here? Neon Strike Vi. No bio or no lore there, but interesting. Kind of a little bit like the Space Groove vibe. Okay. Next one is Officer Vi, which ties in nicely, obviously, what we read in the lore, or should I say in the bio. You can see Caitlin in the background as well. Typical police officer with the Dunkin' Donuts in the background. Okay, so that's that one. Next one is Debonair. Right, Debonair Vi. Don the yellow power tie and red rose, whatever that is, of a woman in charge of herself, her destiny, and the 24 spines she's got going to snap in effortless, elegant style. Okay, so that is that one. Demon, wow, Demon Vi. One of the great generals of hell, Vi brutalizes the tormented with acts of martial savagery, arbitrarily, is it? Raining lazy blows upon the damned. Invoking her in the mortal realm must be done cautiously, as she responds only to a worthy opponent, and only for so long. What a skin. Yeah, that is really good. Wasn't expecting that. Demon Vi. Project, yep. I love the project video for this. What's it called? I forgot, it'll come back to me, but the one with Jin and Vayne. Yeah, really good. Anyway, street smart, brash, and always brutally honest, Vi is a central detective working to keep law and order in the Neon City. Toughened from her days as a lower sector enforcer, Vi keeps the peace with a pair of Atlas gauntlets and a mean right hook. And you can kind of see the evidence of that in the background there as well. Yeah, and then Psyops. Psyops is just something else. Psyops is just... And so are them gauntlets, to be fair. So, let's just do this here. A hand-to-hand combat specialist, really. Trained in the trained in physically enhancing her blows with her mind. V takes care of hard targets for the rest of the Psyop's crew, generally by rushing ahead and punching them apart. She will fight anything and everything, including the old bipedal winter mechs from the Arctic Ops event 40 years prior. Okay, I like the view of this one as well. You know, the view is from looking up as if you're the person's been knocked to the floor. Obviously the person's hands are up in the air. And look at the size of them gauntlets. If you think you can get any bigger, well, yeah. So, yeah. Psyops, and once again, I'll say it again, I love the Psyops theme. I really do like the Psyops theme. So, Legacy Vault, we have, wow, Warring Kingdoms. Vi is the mighty enforcer of Azir's will, a ferocious, ruthless combatant who thrills in any challenge, no matter how outmatched she may be. Her gauntlets are carved from a mystic jade, and each strike connects with the power of a cannon. Yeah, run. I like the look of her there as well. Like, I can't really tell that's Vi. Obviously what's giving it away is the gauntlets, but no, I like it. And this one here is Heartbreaker. Is that the last one? No, we've got one more. Heartbreaker. Okay, Vi plays fast and loose with the rules of love, leaving a long trail of broken hearts and sometimes bodies in her wake. After many years, she's finally encountered a new rival worthy of her strength. Almost too worthy. Ooh, okay, who could this be? Because you can clearly see in the background again. Unfortunately, a couple of guys have tried to get her attention, and it's not really worked. Who is that? Who could that be? Is that Fiora? Anyway, and then we have upcoming, which is obviously the Arcane one as well, celebrating the Riot X Arcane event. That's the skin there. It's decent. I do like that one. If I'm comparing it to Jinx's, though, I do prefer Jinx's Arcane skin over Vi's. But no, it's good. It's good. So, if I had to give you my favourite one, my favourite one would have to be Demon. Honestly, it'd have to be Demon. That one is so good. That would be my number one. Next, this is getting tough. Number two would be Warring Kingdoms. I really do like that one. Yeah. And number three would be Psyops. This Psyops one looks just so good as well. So yeah, they're my top three skins for Vi. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to her login theme. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Hey.
She's such a misfit, always ready to brawl. It's like her business, roughing up your friends. The law, there is no difference. If you believe you're strong, she's a bulldozer, making sure you're flat on the ground. She's like a boomerang that never gives up. She flies in circles so she hits you when you're bad in the dust. So just remember this, when she's chasing you down, face first, you'll be thrown into the proving ground. She'll knock you out.
Hey.
Did you ever try to further improve how fast you push people through the roof? Oh, was there ever any certain time when you thought brute force and style combined? Well, I guess now it's time to shine, 'cause finally she's here. Here comes Vi. As a matter of fact, the best bet one has is to quickly react to the first attack that's safe for the boss.
Right, let me pause halfway through and say two things. First one, yeah, I was right. The background here, I'm sure, is identical to the one for Jinx, but in Jinx's, I think it's just destroyed, but I'm sure it's the same background. Secondly, in the Arcane series, there's an Easter egg in there. There's a shout out to Jinx's login theme. She plays it in one of the episodes. I'm sure she does. I'm just trying to wrap my brains now. Is this played in any part of Arcane? And I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. It's decent. If I'm directly comparing it to Jinx's for me is better. It's very similar in terms of both vocals, both kind of upbeat and kind of fast tempoed as well. But I don't think this one's in Arcane. I might be wrong, but I don't think this one's in Arcane, which is a bit of a shame because I'm sure hers was in Arcane. I think maybe episode 5, maybe 4 or 5. Anyways, decent, no, decent. It was okay. That's all really I can say. That's all really I've got to say on that one. It was okay. Animation is kind of basic, but interesting that there's definitely a comparison between the background of this one and also the one for Jinx as well. So what I'm going to do now is I've noticed there's got to do some artwork on the League of Legends website for Vi. So I'm going to cover that, and then I'm going to finally move on to her story. Let's go. Okay, so there's art gallery here which I'll quickly go through, and then there's also the featured link as well. So let's start off with the art gallery. So this is what is it? Playful Vi concept. So this is maybe the original concept. This brings me back to the concept art for Blitzcrank I went through maybe about a month ago. Some of them were, yeah, you could definitely tell it was the concept. But this is cool. Okay, this is cool. So next one here is early Vi. Okay, here we go. Early Vi concept. So this you can definitely tell is early. And these are the different types. I remember they did one for Senna. Was it Senna? It was the video for the concept art for Senna. That was really, really cool. And I like how it showed the different initial iterations of her as well. Anyway, back to Vi. Yeah, so version 1, version 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, they're all slightly different, but obviously the theme is the gauntlet. Yeah, but probably number 2. I probably like number 2 actually because of the goggles as well. Okay, next one is final color concept. So can you imagine? Okay, so you draw this. Okay, guys, this is kind of the theme. This is the idea, and the concept artist goes, okay, I've got the gist of what you want it to look like, and they produce this. I mean, wow, that's a bit of a contrast. She never had a toothpick in Arcane. Which is a bit of a shame. Anyways, okay, cool. I'm liking the look. She looks well. Then again, let's do it justice. This is the final look. So obviously in Arcane she's still young. She's not got her final look just yet. We can see it's kind of developing with the gauntlets and the pink hair and whatnot as well. I wonder what that is on the back. Anyway, and then this one is early concept. Okay. So obviously the look, hair designs and everything as well. Cool. Okay, it's nice. We've obviously Thanos' gauntlet there as well. And then also, what is this? The Art of League of Legends. So let's have a quick look at this. Okay, because there was a very similar one for Jinx, wasn't there? So, zoom in a little bit more. Vi's gauntlets are an example of something our artists call Hextech, a fusion of magic and technology that harnesses the power of both. Vi's gauntlets not only pack a punch in the way that they're giant and heavy, they also increase her dexterity and her strength. Hextech levels the playing field so regular humans can challenge mages, monsters, or whatever might creep from the void. Jace's hammer, Heimerdinger's gadgets, and Zig's explosives are all examples what a little Hextech can do. So we've not really seen much of Heimerdinger yet in terms of his gadgets, and we definitely haven't seen anything from Ziggs, but maybe we might get a little bit of both of them in season 2. So yeah, that's fine. Did she wear? I don't think she even wore goggles in the last one, so maybe that's unless that's like what's he called? Unless she's wore them in memory of the guy that died, one of her friends that died. Clamor, is it? I forgot his name. Anyways, punching fist, asking questions while punching. Okay, this year one of the first things I saw as a new member of Riot's campaign design team was the illustration of Vice hanging up on the wall in the offices. She was some punk rock, and the lollipop hanging out of her mouth. Okay, it's a lollipop. Perfectly communicated her doesn't give a damn attitude. I saw it and I knew I had to make her into a character in the game. Yeah, okay, I can get with that. Yeah, this is the early concept. Cool. Art can let us into the character's life in a way the game can't. True. The illustration is an exploration of what Vi might look like after a long day of punching her way through Piltover's criminals. In it, we see Vi as a human, not as a superhero. There's an internal cost and pain to her work that wears on more than her knuckles. Yeah. Okay. Wears on more than her knuckles. Yeah. Okay. So this is this here after a long day's work. Okay. Cool. And then these are the skins as well. That kind of reminds me of, after watching Arcane, I went back and watched Echo's champion teaser as well. I don't know, his trailer, which is really good. But that means more to me now. I can kind of relate to that more and pick up more things in that now after watching Arcane. You know, the memorial, you know, the one that he has with the candles. That at the end, the Ken Punk smashes through. Just everything about it just means more to Arcane. And what I was going to say is, at the end of the day, she's obviously tired, and it's shown that she's not just a superhero sort of thing, she's human. So I like how it kind of showed that. Anyways, let's move on to the story, which is Interrogation. Interrogation 101. Let's go. So, Interrogation 101. Vi stifled a yawn as she moved through the gilded chamber at the heart of Piltover's Hall of Law. Dawn was less than an hour old, and the place was quiet. A few drunks were sleeping it off in their shaming cells, and she'd heard there were a couple of chem-augmented thugs in the deeper, more secure lockups. She'd asked around later see if she could provide any insight as to what they were doing up in Piltover. Maybe Victor sent them. She rolled her shoulders, the muscles there stiff after a hard night's work. It had been a long shift, and her forearms were aching from the pressure of her powered gauntlets. All she wanted to do was go back home, get them off, and bathe her fists in ice water. Maybe throw back a few glasses of something strong and sleep some. But the whatever that is, tube from Caitlin had been full of imperatives about getting herself down to the district house on the double. Vi cocked an eyebrow, tossed the message, and given it an hour before leaving her cramped home in the dressmaker's quarter to answer Caitlin's summons. "Hey, Harknor," she said to the desk warden when she reached the cells. "What's so important Caitlin has to drag me from an erotic dream about..." Stop right there," said Hankor, without looking up from his elevated desk as he ran a finger down the list of prisoners brought in during the night. "I'm not in the mood to hear another of your lurid fantasies." "You sure?" grinned Vi, leaning on the desk and blowing a loose strand of pink hair from her eyes. "This was a good one. Had a plot." "And everything, love it." "Quite sure," said Hankor. Harknor. Looking away and holding out the charge sheet, Caitlin and Mohan brought in a Hextech thief last night. He hasn't said a word to anyone, but she thinks you might be able to get him to talk. Vi arched an eyebrow as she scanned the page. "Devakai, you've been a very naughty boy," she said, rolling her eyes and curling her metalled fingers into a fist. "Yeah, Devakai and I knew each other back in the day. I'll get him to talk." Harknor shook his head, saying, "Listen, Vi, I don't want to have to call the surgeon back here again. Caitlin wants this fella to be able to speak when he goes before the procurator. Bear with me. "Where is she anyway?" asked Vi. She isn't even here to say hello." "Chasing down a lead at the dock," said Harknor. "Said she figured you could handle this one on your own. She wrong about that?" "Nope," said Vi, turning and sashaying towards the cell. Which cell's Devakai in?" "Number 6, but remember, he's got to be able to talk." Vi nodded and said, Yeah. She reached cell 6 and slid back the lock-in bar. Normally another warden would secure the door, but Vi didn't need anyone to back her. She knew Devakai from the old days, even worked with him a few times before the job with the factory wood friends went bad, which she found about in the bio. Devakai was a thief, not a fighter, and if she needed backup to restrain his scrawny frame, then it was time to find a new line of work. Devakai was sitting on the edge of the chipped hunk of stone they called a bed, with his back to the wall and his knees up against his chest. He cradled one arm close to his body, the limb ending as a bandaged stump where his hand ought to be. Damn. He looked up as she entered, and his eyes widened with surprise. "Vi?" "Piltover's finest," she said with a petite curtsy that, despite where he sat, made Devakai smile. "What happened to your hand?" "Your damn sheriff shot it off," he said. "What happened to yours?" "I got an upgrade." "The difference," said Vi, holding up her Hextech gauntlets. They hummed with a low buzz, and she turned them around to let Devakai see how powerful they were. "Fully customizable with variant levels of hurt. I could punch through walls with these babies." "Yeah, I heard what happened to the Elliptic vaults," said Devakai with an easy smile, as if he was talking to the old Vi, the Vi from the lanes. He wasn't bright enough to know that Vi wasn't the one standing in front of him. Devakai held up the arm ending in a stump. I'm gonna need an upgrade too. This was a high-end argumentation from Benzo's. That sheriff didn't need to shoot it off. You can bill her, said Vi, closing the distance between them in 2 strides and lifting Devakai off his feet. She threw him against the opposite wall, rattling his bones and sending plaster dust blowing into the air. Devakai slid to the floor, shocked and gasping for breath. They've been playing nice so far, but now they send you in? What gives? I'm the one they send in when asking. All polite doesn't get you anywhere. Cupcake. Okay, I'm glad to see the views that, said Vi, letting the power build in her gauntlets. I'm the one who will go to town on you with these beauties, unless of course you tell me what I want to know. Whoa, wait Vi, what are you doing? Spluttered Devakai, holding his remaining hand out before him as he scrambled to his feet. I'm interrogating you. What's it look like? But you haven't asked me anything. Vi cocked her head to the side. Yeah, I should probably get on that. She reached down and hauled Devakai to his feet, applying a growing pressure to his shoulder. So, who was going to buy the stolen Hextech? Devakai winced in pain but didn't answer. Come on, you're tougher than that, said Vi, releasing his bruised shoulder. You want to see what happens to a face when I don't pull my punches? No, cried Devakai. Then tell me what I want to know. I can. Vi tapped a finger on her chin, as if weighing whether to punch him again. She smiled, the expression worrying Devakai more than the thought of her fists. Be ashamed if word got round the lanes that you'd been informing on all your criminal friends for the last couple of years. What? Said Devakai, spluttering in pain and indignation. That's a lie. Of course it is, said Vi, but I know all the right people to talk to down here. A lot of folk listen if I let slip that you're in the warden's pocket. I'll be dead in a day if you do that, protested Devakai. You shouldn't be saying that. Now you're catching on, said Vi. Tell me what I want to know. I'll make sure it gets about you resisted arrest. Even give you a black eye so it looks like I beat it out of you. Devakai's shoulders slumped, knowing he had no defiance left in him. Fine, I'll tell you what you want to know. Excellent, said Vi. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is the Interrogation 101, like it. Maybe this is a sign of what's to come in Season 2, where she in essence becomes police warden Vi. Yeah, maybe that's what's to come in Season 2, because obviously she needs to find out what's going on with her sister. And I think they kind of alluded to it here. Let me find it. Here we go. Yeah, I heard what happened in the elliptic vaults. I think that ties in with what happened. I think that was the place that Jinx robbed, I think, in her bio or her law. I think. So that kind of ties in with that. So anyways, though, that was good. Good to go through her bio and also her story. So, I don't think she's got any special interactions. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with her abilities on the League of Legends website. Let's go. Okay, so this is Vi. Role is fighter, difficulty is moderate. Now, these are her abilities. Blast Shield. Vi charges the shield over time. The shield can be activated by hitting an enemy with an ability. Okay, was that there before? Is that new? I'm sure it was. She hits 3 times and the third hit it does more damage or true damage or something like that, or breaks resistance or something. Anyway, okay, that's the passive apparently. So, her Q is a Vault Breaker. Vi charges her gauntlets and unleashes a vault-shattering punch, carrying her forward. Enemies she hits are knocked back and receive a stack of detonating blows. Okay, so, her W, denting blows. Okay, that's what I'm getting confused between. So the denting blows isn't her passive. Vi's punching breaks her opponent's armor, dealing bonus damage and granting her attack speed. So her passive charges the shield over time. The shield can be activated by hitting an enemy with an ability. Okay, never knew that. Relentless Force. Vi's next attack blasts through her target, dealing damage to enemies behind it. Doesn't that provide a shield as well? Okay. Or maybe the shield is from the passive. Okay, cease and desist. Vi runs down the enemy, knocking aside anyone in the way. When she reaches her target, she knocks it into the air, jumps after it, and slams it back into the ground. Yes, I've used this ability a couple of times. So yeah, that's nice. Good to go through her abilities as well. The reason I've done that is because her spotlight is very old. I think it's 9 or 10 years old, so I am not going to do that. I like how in the example as well, there's Jinx and there's Echo. Interestingly, she pushes Echo out the way to do it to Jinx. I wonder if that ties in with anything we've seen so far. Anyways, enough of that. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and reactions and everything relating to Vi. She is, for me, now technically the last person I'm going to be covering from Arcane. What I'm going to be doing for moving forward is going to be a continuation of Zone. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to it. And yeah, if you did, feel free to let me know. Feel free to like, comment, and maybe also subscribe for more content like this. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.